Page 18, Toreador Song. This is from the opera Carmen. 4/4 time, 1 sharp. We're either in G major or E minor. Make sure you can do both of those scales. You ought to be doing these scales, well, I'll leave that up to you. Make sure you do the scales. If you can get them 2 octaves, that's better. But at least 1 octave. I have videos on it. Go do what I tell you in the video. For the at least 1 octave and maybe 2. You get where I'm going? Okay. Right hand first. Let's just make sure we got the rhythms. The only thing tricky about the rhythm that I see here is the dotted rhythm. The short note, the 16th note, needs to be short. And the triplets, when we get down to the 3rd line, those are always fun to do. So here at the beginning, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Just make the 16th note short. It's 2E and a 2E and a 1. I just feel it. Don't turn it into a triplet. Triplet. No, it's got to be short. The grace note I'll come back to. Right now, I'll just leave it out. Just connect everything you can, and they want you to lift up here now and go 4th finger. Again, that's a beginner's fingering. I would prefer that we get a little better with our fingering here. I want to prepare this move. I don't want to just lift up and move. It works, you can do it because of the phrasing, but I would still like to connect it. So I'm going to go from the 2 on the half note B. I'm going to go thumb, and then cross over with 2, and now I'm there. So I can do it all. So the last 2 measures in the first line, and then here, there, and that's what I recommend. And then for the 2nd line, they want you to use thumb again. No, reach up and use 3rd finger, or 4th finger, or 5th finger, it doesn't matter which one, on the half note. Then you can use thumb for the first 8th note, A. So we take advantage of repeated notes to change hand positions. This happens a lot in piano, and this is what I'm suggesting. I'm in this position, sort of, and then I'm going to go here. That moves my hand up. Now, next measure, here, you'd have to come down here. And if you fit in here okay, your hands are small enough, your fingers are skinny enough, that's fine. Otherwise, we need to put 2nd finger on that. Well, if we're going to do that, we're ready. I mean, I'm 2nd finger here. So what I'm going to suggest in the 2nd measure there on the 2nd line is here, 3rd finger. We're starting out with 2nd finger and then 3rd finger. Now you can reach down if you want. And then 2, and we're back to their fingering. And these are all black keys, so no matter how big your hands are, you can fit here. Here. Then 3rd line, 2nd measure. That asterisk is just the editor's way of indicating a footnote. It's not part of the music. They're telling you about these 16th note triplets. You're going to play the triplet in half a beat. 1 and 2 and. And the triplet comes on the and. 1 and. 1 triplet. 1 triplet 2 and. So it's 1. First the notes is here. Okay, that's okay. 1 and 2. That's all it is, and they're all the same. 1 and 2 and. 1 and next measure, you're going to go from here to here. I want to prepare that move. So this is our 3rd line, last measure. 1 and 2. And I'm going to use thumb again right there. And this way I can reach up 3rd. And you don't have to do 2nd. I mean, you can if you want, but 3rd works too. That works if you want to. But I put the thumb on that D for beat 3. So again, 1 and 2 and 3. I put the thumb there. And 4. And then you got to move down. And you can use thumb if you want, because I can do a 1, 3, 2. 1-3-2 is very common in piano. It's kind of neat because the thumb is closer to it. I can stretch out a little bit. I'm not moving as far as I got to go all the way down here. Then the 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a. So it's 1 E and a 2. Let's talk about that run. Rhythm-wise, just 16th notes. Okay. The notes, for the most part, are just a G major scale. Well, the fingering they're using, for the most part, is the fingering for a G major scale. So if you can do the G major scale like you're supposed to be able to do, when you get these kind of runs, you just play them because you're accustomed to playing them for the scale. You're starting to hear, it's the fingering for a scale. Except now we're going all the way up. Well, if you go 2 octaves, you do it. There, all of that was part of the G major scale, and then we just add the C sharp to it. 3rd finger, because you're going to go back to the top, and it's 4th finger. This way you're in position to go up back. That's why it's 3rd finger. Otherwise, it would be here. And you can do that too. I'll leave it to you as to what you do. Then for the second ending, it's just a 5-7 chord. This or here, whichever, and then here. Left hand, well, this is the marching part. It's kind of a march. Just chords. And then 2. And on the last measure, that first line, they put a natural sign for the C in parentheses to tell you it's a C. Again, people don't agree on notation. They don't agree on the rules for music. I've been on both sides of this argument, and it just doesn't work. People are very strongly believe they're right and the other people are wrong. Accidentals. You have a C sharp in the second beat here. Some people believe that C sharp applies from that point on to the rest of the measure, and it applies to all C's in that measure. It doesn't matter where they are. Any C is automatically sharped. Well, that would make these C's in the 3rd and 4th beats sharped also. You'd have to have a natural sign for them, or you'd sharp them. Other people, like whoever did this book, believes that the natural sign only applies to that pitch. That C only, none others, no others. So this other C's don't need a natural sign. It would be natural anyway. But they put it in parentheses as a courtesy sign to tell you, make sure you play a natural sign here. You're going to find it both ways in music, and basically you got to go by your ear. Which way is this person wanting this to be sometimes? It's best to be clear. Just know they don't agree. Most piano players need the sharp on every pitch, every one. So if it were going to be a C sharp here, we need another C sharp. We need another sharp sign for this C. But if you go to a violin player or something like that, and I use violin because that was a violin player, a teacher and a very accomplished violin player who informed me that that sharp sign was for any. It didn't matter what octave it was. It was for, here C sharp would be for any C's in that measure, the rest of them, in any octave. And she was adamant about it. She, oh no, you're wrong. It's got to be this way. And then later on, I'm talking about the other people about it, and they say, oh no, you're wrong. It's got to, it just know that this is a C sharp and those are C naturals. And if you try and tell somebody how it is, they're going to disagree with you. Probably. They could. They might. Yeah. So that's that. That's Anyway, going on, second line, you're here, we're okay here. You just get the chords. It's an F sharp, A sharp. Now, on the third line down, first measure, I don't recommend using a separate hand position for each of these, because you got here, here, here. It's the same chord in different inversion. So, I'm going to suggest you, when you get to the second one, we're going to finger it like that. So I can finger both of those chords in one hand position. So it's here and then here. When you have a choice, you can go here and then change. That works too. I just don't use a separate for every one. So it's up to you on which two inversions you include in one position. It can be these two or these two. You decide what you want. Then in the second measure, now we're finger pedaling this. Hold this C down as you play these. If your hand's big enough, you can use 4 there if you want. Put the hands together. Here. I know it doesn't sound like much right now, but hang in there. We're gradually putting it together. It gets better in time. Take my word for it, it'll get better. Third line down, here, you're... Now hold that down. You go through and put it together, and then go back through and get rid of the hesitations. Doesn't matter how fast you go at this point, but the beat has to be steady. And once you can do that, then we'll go back and we add the articulation, the staccatos and accents and things, and the grace notes. We'll do the ornamentation too. I'm going to use a nice wrist here, and I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off each time. I'm not coming above and hitting it. If it's a fast one, you'll have a choice. You have to do that, but it's a small motion. It's not a big one. Here, it's slow enough. We can put the hand back on the key each time before we hit it. Left hand is connected, or right hand's connected. Now this grace note is a real quick note, right before the beat, or right before the note. People don't agree on how it's played, how it's interpreted. Most people would play it before the beat. That's what they were taught, so it would be beat. I play it on the beat. That's how I was taught. The only difference here between the grace note and the appoggiatura is that the grace note is not a rhythmic note. It's not done rhythmically. It's just a real quick note. The appoggiatura is rhythmic. It's given a specific value depending on what the music tells you to do. So it's just a quick note. Lift up in the right hand, your staccato in the left hand. Contrast here. We went from this to this. Legato. You put it together. You have a staccato at the beginning of the last line here. Both hands. Accent. Just give it a little extra oomph and separate it. Separate the notes. That gets back to interpretation. There are different ways of interpreting these things, and some people do and some people don't. I do sometimes. When you have note after note that they're all accented like this, we have 2 notes in a row, both accented. It helps, at least on piano, although you can do it on other instruments too, it helps to bring out the accent a little bit if you simply separate the notes. Otherwise, you're just playing it louder. Okay. Experiment and try both ways and you decide what you like, but I like them separated one here in this piece. And then this is all connected. And connect the C sharp to the D up above. Because you're repeating, connect it. Also, since we're here, let me talk about this on this run. You need to feel the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to feel it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. If you'll feel the beat, you'll put in the natural accents. You see, music has natural accents, and the strongest natural accent is the first beat of each measure. Well, there's other natural accents besides, depending on what's going on in the music. When you start subdividing a beat like this, like we got 4 notes and 1 beat down here, we want to hear the beat. So you put a little natural accent on the beat itself. Feel it. 1, 2. Now you can exaggerate it at first, like I explained in the scale videos. So to exaggerate it to start with, and then gradually ease up on it where you're just feeling it. 1. It'll come across and it'll flow and it'll be even and smooth and everybody will be so excited you did wonderful. Okay. Then in the second ending here, we have 2 sforzandos and accents. I disagree with that. This book is doing this over and over. A sforzando is like the strongest accents you can have. It's loud. It's really loud. You give it extra oomph. If they didn't want to, they could just as easily put 2 F's on those. Fortissimos, and leave it at that. Just give you a fortissimo there on the... But they didn't. They put sforzandos. So they're major accents. You don't need an accent sign with a sforzando, in my opinion. But again, I would separate these. I'll talk about the pedal in a minute. Forget it right now. Just separate these. Get extra. You're ending it very loud. The loudest part of the whole piece was there at the end. Speaking aloud, once you can get in the articulation and all that junk, dynamics to the melody, which is the right hand. Keep this kind of a medium soft. Second line is soft. You get a crescendo here. Don't get loud until that second measure of the third line. So you're going to go from soft to loud. Last measure, the second line, you're soft. Go up to, you're gradually increasing a little bit. You're sort of moderately soft. And then get a little louder. And now loud. And here. Not here. This is sort of a moderately loud to moderately soft in there. Yeah. And then for the run, come down, back down to a soft, and then go back up to loud. Soft, moderately loud, loud, loud. So it's like each beat just gets a little louder. Where you're loud, we're at the beginning. And then at the end, of course, they're very loud. Well, they've added pedal there at the end. Let me talk about that briefly. Didn't use pedal anywhere else, so why are we using it here? Apparently they want the overtones. My problem with it is that it connects those notes. I don't want to connect those notes. I want them separate. So if I'm going to pedal it, I'm going to pedal it with the hands. The pedal goes down with the notes and up with the notes. So it's there. I get the overtones and I still get the silence between them. I'm not showing the pedal in this video because it's fairly simple. Put the pedal down with the hands and up with the hands. And that's it. So it's just down, down, like so. Speed, well, Marziali is a march type thing. This is a march. Left, right, left, right.